Hello everyone, welcome to today's story. After months apart, Alex and Tuna finally reunited at the quiet family farmhouse. The sky was painted with soft sunset hues, as if nature itself wanted to bless their fragile love. Alex's smile was gentle, but his pale face revealed exhaustion that worried Tuna deeply. "Let's not talk about the past anymore," Alex whispered, his voice trembling slightly. "I just want to see you smile again." Tuna's eyes welled with tears. She reached for his hand, afraid that if she let go, this moment of peace would vanish forever. But just as laughter began to return to their home, Alex suddenly collapsed. The reunion turned into panic, and the storm of fate had only just begun. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Let's reach 10,000 followers together so we can bring you even more heartfelt stories like this one. The sirens screamed through the night as the ambulance rushed toward the city hospital. Inside, Tuna held Alex's trembling hand, her tears falling silently onto his pale skin. "Alex, please, stay with me," she whispered, voice cracking. But his eyes were closed, his breathing shallow, as if life itself was slipping through her fingers. When they arrived, doctors pushed him into the emergency room. The red light above the door flicked on. Tuna stood frozen in the hallway, clutching her necklace, the one Alex had given her the day they first promised forever. Moments later, Mrs. Min, Alex's mother, arrived, her face cold but her eyes burning with worry. "What happened to my son?" she demanded. Tuna lowered her head. "He collapsed suddenly. He said he just needed rest, but..." Mrs. Min's expression softened. For the first time, her voice trembled. "You should have called me sooner. I thought you would protect him." Tuna bit her lip, guilt flooding her chest. "I tried, but I didn't know he was hiding how sick he was. He didn't want to worry anyone." The silence in the hallway grew unbearable. The only sound was the ticking clock and little Henry's footsteps echoing as he approached, clutching his small toy car. "Mommy, where's Daddy? Why is everyone crying?" Tuna turned, kneeling down and hugging him tightly, her tears soaking his hair. "Daddy's just resting, sweetheart." Mrs. Min looked at them, the small, fragile picture of a family hanging by a thread, and for the first time, her heart ached with something she hadn't felt in years: empathy. After 2 hours, the red light above the emergency room finally turned off. The doctor stepped out, his face serious. "Mr. Alex's condition is stable, but he needs to rest completely. The exhaustion and stress have taken a heavy toll on his heart." Tuna collapsed into a chair, her body trembling in relief and fear. "Thank you, doctor," she whispered. As the night deepened, Mrs. Min quietly draped her coat over Tuna's shoulders. "Stay strong," she murmured. "He'll need you when he wakes up." For the first time, they sat together in silence. Two women, once divided, now bound by love for the same man. The faint beeping of the heart monitor filled the dim hospital room. Dawn was only beginning to paint the horizon when Alex slowly opened his eyes. His body felt weak, his throat dry, and yet the first thing he saw was Tuna, her head resting on the side of his bed, eyes swollen from crying. He tried to move his fingers, brushing her hair softly. She stirred and gasped, clutching his hand. "Alex, you're awake, thank God." Her voice cracked, trembling with both relief and fear. Alex smiled weakly. "I'm fine, just tired." But before he could say more, the door opened. Mrs. Min entered quietly, carrying a bowl of warm porridge. Her expression was firm, but there was a strange gentleness in her tone. "You shouldn't talk much yet," she said. "You've scared us all." Alex blinked. "Us?" His mother's eyes shifted toward Tuna. The tension between them was no longer sharp like before, but fragile, like glass on the verge of breaking. "Mom," Alex whispered, "thank you for being here." Mrs. Min nodded, placing the bowl on the table. A mother never stops worrying, no matter how old her child gets. Then, after a pause, she turned to Tuna. "You should eat something too. You've been here all night." Tuna hesitated, unsure if she'd heard right. "Thank you, Mrs. Min," she said softly. For a while, silence wrapped around the room. Only the rhythmic hum of the machines and the distant murmur of nurses filled the air. Then Mrs. Min spoke again, her tone lower, thoughtful. "Alex, I used to think love was a distraction, that it made people weak. But seeing her sit here all night refusing to rest, I realized perhaps love is what gives us the strength to endure." Tuna froze. Her eyes filled with tears, but she said nothing. Alex reached out, his hand trembling as he found hers. "Mom, I love her. I love them both. Tuna and Henry, they're my family. I don't want to keep choosing between you and them anymore." Mrs. Min sighed deeply, eyes glistening. "You don't have to choose, my son. Maybe I was the one who needed to change." Tuna covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. She looked at Mrs. Min, and for the first time there was no distance, only understanding. Alex tried to smile, though his body was still frail. "Then, maybe this hospital room isn't such a bad place. It brought us all together again." Mrs. Min let out a small laugh through tears. "Don't say things like that. Next time, let's meet somewhere brighter." Tuna leaned closer, her hand resting on his chest, where his heart beat steadily again. "We just want you to come home, Alex. That's all we need." As the morning sunlight streamed through the blinds, the family's wounds began to heal, not with words, but with quiet, sincere love. 2 weeks later, the Turner residence glowed once more with life. The early evening sun filtered through the windows, filling the house with warmth. The sterile smell of the hospital was now replaced by the aroma of home-cooked food and blooming lilies. Alex, though still a little pale, walked slowly around the living room, adjusting the candles and the dinner table. Every small detail mattered. The folded napkins, the fresh roses, the faint music playing softly in the background. This wasn't just a dinner. It was his way of saying thank you. In the kitchen, Tuna was finishing the soup, humming gently to herself. Her movements were graceful, but her eyes occasionally flickered toward the living room, watching Alex with a mixture of love and worry. "Don't move too much," she called out. "The doctor said you still need rest." Alex chuckled. "If I stay still any longer, I'll forget how to walk. Besides, this dinner isn't about me. It's for both of you." Before she could reply, the sound of footsteps approached. Mrs. Min appeared at the door, elegant as ever but softer now with warmth in her eyes. "I could smell your cooking from outside," she said with a small smile. "Tuna, you've turned this place into a home." Tuna smiled shyly. "Thank you, Mrs. Min. Please sit. The food's almost ready." Henry toddled in behind her, holding a drawing in his tiny hands, stick figures of 3 people holding hands under a big red heart. "Daddy, Mommy, Grandma, family," he announced proudly. Mrs. Min took the drawing and knelt beside him, her eyes misty. Yes, sweetheart. Family. Dinner began quietly, the kind of silence that carried peace rather than tension. The table was filled with simple dishes: rice, grilled fish, vegetables, but to Alex it was a feast of love. After they ate, Alex reached under his chair and pulled out a small white envelope. His expression grew serious. "There's something I wrote, back when I wasn't sure if I'd wake up again," he said softly. "I never thought I'd have the chance to read it aloud." Lytuna froze. Mrs. Min leaned forward slightly, sensing the weight of his words. Alex unfolded the letter. His voice was unsteady at first, then steady, filled with emotion. "To the two women who define my life. If you're reading this, it means I couldn't say these words in person. Lytuna, you gave me peace when I didn't know what peace was. You taught me that family isn't built by blood, but by love, sacrifice, and forgiveness. And Mother, you gave me strength when I was weak. Even your silence taught me lessons I'll never forget. I just want you both to know. I've never been afraid of death, only of leaving without saying thank you. Thank you for giving me a reason to live and to fight for this love." His voice broke on the last sentence. When he looked up, Lytuna was crying silently. She reached for his hand, trembling. "You don't need to thank us," she whispered. "We're just grateful you're here, that we can still hold you." Mrs. Min wiped a tear discreetly, her voice softer than ever. "You're my son, Alex. I may not have understood your choices before, but now I see. Love like this is rare and worth protecting." Henry climbed onto Alex's lap and hugged him tightly. "Daddy, don't go to the hospital again, okay?" Everyone laughed through their tears. Alex nodded, holding his son close. "I promise." The night stretched on with quiet conversation, laughter, and the warmth of reconciliation. Outside, the wind rustled softly through the trees. Not a storm this time, but a gentle whisper of peace. And as candlelight flickered across their faces, Alex realized that even after everything, betrayal, pain, and illness, love had brought them home again. A few days later, the house once again glowed in golden evening light. The table from that night remained in the same place, but this time, Alex had prepared something different. No letters, no hospital memories, only joy. The garden outside shimmered with tiny lights woven into the trees. Fireflies danced lazily as the air carried the soft scent of roses. Lytuna stepped out in a simple white dress, holding Henry's little hand. "Alex, what's all this?" she asked, eyes wide with curiosity. Alex smiled, standing near the swing beneath the old oak tree, the same spot where they had shared their first promise. "You'll see." Mrs. Min appeared behind them, a rare smile lighting her face. "Just go on, dear, tonight's special." Henry giggled, whispering, "Mommy, Daddy said it's a surprise." Lytuna blinked, confused, as Alex reached into his pocket. Slowly, he knelt on one knee. The world seemed to still. Only the sound of wind and their hearts beating filled the air. "Lytuna," Alex said softly, his eyes glistening with emotion. "We've been through storms, tears, and countless nights of fear, but through it all, you never gave up on me, or on us." Lytuna's lips trembled. Alex continued, "When I was in that hospital bed, I realized something. It's not success or power that makes life worth living. It's you and Henry, my everything. So, will you marry me right here in the home we built together?" Tears streamed down Tuna's cheeks as she covered her mouth, nodding. "Yes, Alex, 1,000 times yes." Henry clapped his tiny hands. "Daddy and Mommy are getting married." Mrs. Min stepped forward, placing her hand on Tuna's shoulder. "Welcome to the family, my daughter. I was blind before, but I see clearly now. Love like yours deserves to last." Alex slipped the ring onto Tuna's finger as the lights flickered around them like stars. She leaned in, whispering through tears, "We finally made it." He smiled, pressing his forehead against hers. No more storms, just love. Under the warm glow of their home, surrounded by laughter and the gentle hum of life, their small family finally found what they had been searching for all along: peace, unity, and everlasting love.
Sau những biến cố giông bão tưởng chừng không thể vượt qua, Alice tỉnh dậy trong bệnh viện bên cạnh Tử Na và Henry, hai người yêu thương nhất. Chính giây phút ấy khiến mẹ Người Anh bạn Minh nhận ra sức mạnh thật sự của tình yêu. Khi Alice hồi phục, anh chuẩn bị bữa cơm tối. Tử Na và mẹ đọc lại bức thư anh từng viết giữa ranh giới sinh tử, khiến tất cả rơi nước mắt. Vài ngày sau, khu vườn ngập tràn ánh đèn, Alice quỳ xuống cầu hôn Tử Na trước sự chứng kiến của mẹ và Henry. Nụ hôn dưới ánh hoàng hôn khép lại hành trình đầy nước mắt và mở ra một mái ấm trọn vẹn nơi tình yêu chiến thắng mọi thử thách.